Do you know how many people have claimed to be God? How many human beings have asked the world to believe their claims of divinity?
To receive them as if visiting from infinity.
As if revealing from invisibility the mystery of secrets hidden from our mortal-minded simplicity.
With the zeal of a missionary, these messengers have come to be a permanent fixture in the midst of me and you. Our cultures, our societies, a great variety professing piety, they attract notoriety before they quietly slide away.
There was George Baker, or Father Divine, celebrated in his time until his death knell chimed in 1965. There's been Andre Matsuura, Ahn Sang-hong, and then Sun Myung Moon and Hulon Mitchell came along. Victor Gomez said he'd rise from the dead in 1978, but the clock's still ticking. He seems to be a little late. There was Toth, Matayoshi, and Bent. Myung Seok said he too was heaven sent. Quiboloy, David Icke, and Inri Christo. Next up, Koresh, Mitchell, and the list goes on to Torop, Shayla, and Devi Christos. A.J. Miller said he was Jesus born again in our times, but Jose Miranda's claim was just the same. So tell me, how many men can be Jesus reincarnate, unless we're supposed to imagine Jesus being carved up, like as if he could be halved up and split in two? It sounds to me like you bark up the wrong tree if you believe that's true. I don't know about you. Rael called himself the messenger of Elohim, but until I said his name just now, tell me, did you know him? If not, then what's becoming of all the messages he says the gods show him?
So you remember I asked you, do you know how many people had claimed to be God? Well, that was 21. 21 human beings who have claimed to be a deity and somehow got their name to be in the media. And that's just from a page you see on Wikipedia. How many more did we never hear about?
Just now, we only took a look at the 20th century. If we roll the clock back, the list gets a lot more lengthy.
You can find 13 more who said they were Jesus. And maybe they persuaded a handful of believers.
34 Jewish messiahs came and went, claimed they were sent with divine consent.
Then there's 157 emperors in Japan. Spread the search a bit wider out into China, and you'll find there's another 557. But climb into heaven, and I wonder how many you would find.
There were 332 pharaohs who reigned over Egypt. 8 Roman rulers wrote imperial edicts saying they should be treated as gods, down here seated on temporary human thrones.
Poets, presidents and priests, shamans, witch doctors and chiefs. The occasional downbeat walking the town streets.
It's like in every different nation and human institution, men are demanding worship and dealing out supposedly divine retribution.
Maybe you'll hear all this and reach the conclusion that divine daydreams are decidedly human.
Just predictable fictional noise pollution.
But over all that white noise, there is one voice you can still hear above the confusion.
His words are heard in the heat of revolution, at the defeat of persecution, when men meet with destitution or plead for absolution, when they preach redistribution of wealth among the poor.
He somehow fails to be ignored, as his shadow still falls like Gulliver standing among the Lilliputians.
If you want to know why his voice rings out so loud, why he still gets heard above the crowd,
it's not the message he was preaching, not the methods he was teaching, not his clever hidden meanings, but the many who believed him.
See, I challenge you to stop and take a look at what he did, this poor refugee kid.
He told the world that he was God, but the difference is he made half the world believe it.
We heard a lot of numbers today, but here's another 4. One man, 2,000 years later, 2 billion followers on 7 continents.
How many men have claimed to be God's son? You see, maybe that question's not quite the right one. How many sons of God have appeared as a man? Maybe there's only one up there who can.